All right, what's up, everybody? What's up? I'm Shimoge. This is Shimoge's Comments, and today we're talking about the top 5 problems that the Manosphere causes. Okay, so I'm sure all of you have seen my video on why the Manosphere is evil. If you haven't, check it out. The video is just called "The Manosphere is Evil," and basically I just go in on that thing. But right now, I just wanted to crystallize the top 5 reasons why the Manosphere is bad. Okay, even actually, a better title for this video might be the top 5 reasons why the Manosphere is bad. Whatever, but you get the idea. They're really bad. I just want to give you 5 big things to hold on to in case you watched the first video and you didn't really understand, okay, but why are they so bad, right? So let's start first with misogyny. One, the first reason why the Manosphere is bad, and again, there's more than 5 reasons. It's just I want to give you 5 to really hold on to, so it just like really goes deep in your brain. The first reason why the Manosphere is so bad is it spreads misogyny, otherwise known as hatred of women. Okay, and this one's pretty self-explanatory. Like the Manosphere's whole reason for being basically is to hate on women. All they talk about is how horrible women are. So one, when you spread that idea, it's shocking to good people. It literally makes them sick. And as you see from this word I got here, we're going to talk about how the manosphere literally makes people sick in a bit. But the misogyny the manosphere sprays, well, they do spray it, spreads, literally makes people sick. It makes them upset. It's very shocking to good people, and bad people or stupid people can pick it up and end up being misogynistic themselves, and obviously go out harming women. So obviously, we don't want that at all in society. Should it not exist? So the fact that the manosphere is spreading this is one of the top 5 reasons why it's bad. Okay. Now the second reason. Let me move over here a bit to point. Second big reason of the top 5 that the manosphere is bad is racism. The manosphere is bad because it spreads racism. Now, as I talked about in the first video, right, the manosphere moved out of the right wing white supremacist movement. That's what it grew out of. So all those ideas are baked in there. It's just they've just tailored it towards hating women, but it's still, of course, spreading the racism. Because, one, on a deeper level, any sort of like hatred against one gender is going to be racist, because when you look at it, and again, when we get to the thing in the center, you're going to see, when we look at it, anytime you're hating on one gender, you're destroying a race. Because race is the same as lineage. I know there's a lot of talk out there about how race is subjective, a social construct. Not true. I'll go deep on that another time, but basically race is the same as your lineage. Any lineage is created by men and women, right? Who then, um, give birth to children who grow and then continue the lineage. So if you destroy one gender, you destroy the lineage. So inherently racist. But then white supremacist misogyny has a racist tint to it, because what it says is that, okay, we hate all women, but the women we hate the most are black women. And how much we hate you depends on how black you are or how far away from white you are. So they spread that idea. And then they also, in addition to just really just stepping on black women, which is just disgusting, like literally just leave the world. If you're just going to go around hating black women, just leave the world. I will personally escort you out of the world. I will personally escort out of the world anyone whose reason for being is hating on black women. Okay, I will literally, I will lead you by hand if you want. Okay, literally escort you out of the universe. But like, how do these people exist? But anyway, let me stay focused. Let me stay focused. But in addition to hating on black women, they also hate on black men, because there's lots of sections of the manosphere. Because like any big just bad thing, there's lots of different corners of it. So some corners are especially devoted to saying that black men are taking the women, or that you know the white women they want are stupid because they're going after black women and now they're untouchable, black men rather. Or even in the black manosphere, a lot of the sellouts in the black manosphere have been using this term Pookie and Ray Ray, basically to put down the average black man. And they're saying that, oh, black women are stupid because they prefer the average black man, or what they think is the average black man, because they like to claim that the average black man is like some sort of criminal. You can already see how racist it is. I don't even need to go into depth. It's a stupid thing. People just should not exist. They just should not exist. Um, but they put down the average black man and then exalt black men who are close to white people. You speak white, you live among white people, you work a job in corporate America, whatever, right? So then they're putting down the average black man. So it's very racist. And you have different corners of racism. Of course, there's a lot of anti Asian racism in there as well. There's all sorts of racism, and it's spreading that. So that just is terrible. So on that ground alone, it should be destroyed. But it's crazy that in addition to that, it's also misogynistic, and there are three other big things wrong with it. I mean, just even thinking about the manosphere makes me sick. The only reason I'm talking about it so much is because it has to be destroyed. It literally makes me physically sick to talk about those people who shouldn't exist. Anyway, give me a moment, jeez. Okay, let's push through. Sorry, let me see what time it is. I got the time here on this laptop. Um, because I want to obviously talk to y'all. I don't want to go on too long because, again, if I spend too much time talking about these people who shouldn't exist, I myself will get sick. Okay. Anyway, the third reason, again, the third reason of the top 5 reasons why the manosphere is bad is that it causes violence. The manosphere causes violence, right? I want to stick here for a bit because there's a lot of debate about how violent the manosphere is. Because, first of all, you got to realize that violence is not just physical. There's such a thing as verbal violence and spiritual violence. So obviously the manosphere is verbally and spiritually violent because all the nonsense they say about women in general, black women specifically, black people in general, Asian people, like just a lot of verbal and spiritual violence. But then what a lot of people try and claim is that, oh, the manosphere actually doesn't cause physical violence because we can't link too many cases of physical violence to the manosphere. I say that's complete nonsense. Because first of all, if you watch the first video, you saw that I introduced the concept of a prisoner. And a prisoner is essentially, in the context I'm talking about, someone who committed one of the biggest sins in the universe before they passed away, went to HE double hockey sticks, but didn't finish their sentence, and then reincarnated before they got cleansed, right? So most men in the manosphere, whether they be content creators or people who consume the content, are prisoners. And they're the worst kind of prisoners because they're prisoners who went to HE double hockey sticks because they removed another human being from life. That is actually why they hate women so much. Because when you remove another human being from life and you don't repent, you end up hating women. And again, I talked about that a bit more in the first video, and I'll go into that in depth in a lot more videos because something very basic and crucial that most people don't understand. I didn't even know this until my ancestors revealed this information to me, right? But I'm going to go into it. But anyway, so obviously, if you have that past life character to remove human beings from Earth, you can do it again. And from what we see, they do it again. Because first of all, when you just look at the Manosphere dialogue, Manosphere chats and reports of it, there's a lot of talk of violence. There's a lot of talk of harming others and harming themselves. So obviously they have violence in the head. And if someone is thinking violently all the time, obviously, there's a high chance they're gonna do violent things. And we see they do violence. A lot of high profile cases of Manosphere men committing violence, such as Elliot Roger. Again, I don't even want to say his name, but just so you know who I'm talking about. The I believe Santa Barbara mass deleter, right? Maniasin, the guy in Canada. Again, don't want to name him. He had links to the Manosphere. Did this? There's lots of cases. No, but when people try and say that, okay, the data doesn't show that mass deleters, for example, are more likely to be tied to the manosphere than anything else. But that's I think that that's just not true because it when you look at a lot of other cases of people who committed very sensational crimes, particularly men, in recent times you see that either they do have some affiliation to the manosphere in the reports, especially when you look at police reports and investigations, or they express beliefs that are common in the manosphere. Like they have big problems with their mother, big problems with women in general, antisocial, don't get women. So do you think that a man like that in the internet age would not be a fan of the manosphere? Just think about it for a second. Just because he didn't tell the officers before he committed the crime or after they caught him, oh, I love the manosphere, doesn't mean you can't figure out he did. If you have a 25-year-old man who lives in his mother's basement but hates his mother, has never gotten a woman in his life, and has a manifesto where he talks about how he hates women because all they do is, spend time with black men who are invading his country. You don't think he consumes manosphere content? Think. And obviously, when you have that violent mentality, you look at content that tells you, yes, that violent mentality is correct. Of course, you're going to be more likely to commit acts of violence. So it's no question. The manosphere causes physical violence. If we remove the manosphere, there would be less in society, period. So the fact that the manosphere is still there is a big cause of violence in our society, particularly violence committed by men. Okay. Anyway. Oh, let's check the time. All right. I think I'm about halfway through. I'm actually going to take a water break. Give me a second. Give me like a minute. Let me just go out of my room, get some water. When we come back, I'm going to talk about the fourth big reason why the manosphere is bad. And that's because the manosphere spreads disease. All right. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, guys, I'm back. Now let's talk about the fourth big reason why the manosphere is bad. It spreads disease. All right, I don't want disease, so I just had some water and also a little bit of Coca-Cola because I wanted some electrolytes. But manosphere men clearly do not get enough electrolytes in their diet because they talk crap, and when you talk crap, you spread disease. Because one thing people don't know is that falsehood itself, because first of all, if you're one of those people who believes in subjective morality, subjective truth, there is no truth. Just even leave the world with the manosphere people. I'm sorry, but just leave. What are you talking? What are you talking? There's no such thing as truth. Please, I'll break that down another day. But just nini. What? But anyway, it's nonsense. But when you talk falsehood, you literally spread disease, right? Because one major cause of disease is actually evil spirits, otherwise known as demons, right? And when you look at like the etymology of the terms for demons in different languages, as well as their nature and the nature of spirits in general, and I'll break this down in a big way in the future, it's very important. Demons, in one aspect, are actually just bad ideas. They're literally just bad ideas that manifest in spiritual form, right? And these bad ideas literally will make you sick, right? They'll literally make you sick. And said another way, germs, right? Germs, what we call germs in English, right, are actually just very small creatures that have a tendency to carry these evil spirits that then make you sick, right? So, for example, fleas themselves don't make human beings sick. They just carry germs that make human beings sick. But even deeper than that, the germs itself aren't really what make you sick. It's the, generally speaking anyway, it's the demons they carry, right? Anyway, I'll go into that in a deeper level. But I just say all that to say, if you're speaking falsehood, and also if you're a bad person, because again, we've already established manosphere men are bad people, right? Both from their past lives and also their current lives. You literally will make people sick because you will spread germs, right? Even Your videos of you, your picture will spread germs. You will spread disease. You will spread demons, right? And your speech will spread germs. It will spread disease. It will spread demons. Okay? If you're a bad person. So when this comes to Manosphere men and the Manosphere, all these horrible people speaking horrible ideas all over the place literally spread disease. That's one of the reasons why I emphasize not looking at the Manosphere unless you absolutely have to for some reason. Because literally, it will make you sick. Literally, it will make you sick. Maybe you won't get diagnosed for one reason or another, but if you look at it honestly and someone examines you honestly, you will be sicker than before you looked at the Manosphere video. Okay, so the manosphere is just a vector of disease. That's why I say these people should not exist. Okay? They should not exist. Men like that should not exist because you literally spread disease. And we should not have disease like this in the world. Like, oh, literally. 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 If I liked having unnecessary fights, I would literally just go up to these manosphere men and say, "You are a disease," and walk away. Because you literally are a disease. And you spread disease. So the manosphere spreads disease. That's the fourth big reason why it's bad. Okay? Okay? Now, let's get to the fifth and final reason why the manosphere is bad. And before I say that, these are the 5 reasons I want to highlight, probably the 5 biggest reasons. There are many more reasons. When you look at something so bad like the manosphere, like just even looking at this, like how does something this bad even manage to go on? Like it's just so. I mean, what is literally, like literally? I just sometimes I just look at the thing, or I just think about it, and it's like you have all these men who shouldn't exist, saying things that shouldn't be said, and they've gone on for decades. They've got more popular. What? Like, I mean, sometimes I just want to sit down and just be like, what? Like, literally, what is going on in the universe? How are there even that many? I mean, like, look at this. It spreads misogyny. It spreads racism. It spreads violence. It spreads disease. And those aren't even the only bad things about it, and it exists and it's popular. And you have people debating whether or not it's a good thing. There are people who think the manosphere is a net positive. I mean, like, what? I mean, excuse me, like, because even just thinking about it makes me sick. So let me just spray some I'll call it chakra spray. I'll go into the concept of chakras. It's more complicated, but basically this spray I have here, again, I haven't been paid to advertise this brand. I just found it works. This spray I have here activates your sacral chakra, the energy of the sacral chakra. That forces away demons. So it's good for getting rid of demons and things that make you sick. So I'm just gonna go ahead and spray it because all this manosphere talk, ooh, these demons are, and me just even trying to think about how people even think the manosphere is good, how it exists, making me sick. So give me a second. Like, jeez, literally, shy, just. And then I got another heart chakra spray. I'm running low. Again, wasn't paid to advertise this brand, just doing it. That is for the heart chakra, activates it, but it has similar effects to the sacral chakra spray. Basically, when you put them together, it does a lot of good. So let me get some of that in as well. Whew, just jeez, just whew, Lord. I mean, just men in the world today. What is going on with my gender? Jesus, like just so many just need to be like just escorted out of the universe. Like please, just leave. Fix yourself before the forces of the universe fix you, Bika. Anyway, the fifth final reason I'm going over why the manosphere is bad is that it causes gender division. In other words, it divides the genders. The manosphere divides the genders. There's a reason I put this in the center, because all these things together lead to this, and that destroys life. The manosphere destroys life. Because as I explained earlier, you need the two genders to work together to create life. Men and women come together to create life. They have children, they have families. But then if you put out this misogyny, obviously women are just gonna have a hard time just existing if you just have people talking about how they hate them, doing hateful things. And then that could cause them to be adverse to men, hate men. That then causes men to hate women more. There's all this war. The gender war people are talking about, unfortunately, is real. But that is self-deletion. That is, I mean, we call ourselves the human race, but really the term human only refers to black people. But I'm just going to use it in quotes because we're also talking about non-blacks. But the human race with this gender war is destroying itself. Chai. Oh my God. Hey. And then these things feed into it. Because racism also destroys lineages. And inherently, racist violence ends up targeting different genders, pitting them against each other. Any form of racism you see is going to cause gender division. So this increases this. This increases this. Violence in general causes stress. When people are stressed, they can't have proper relationships. So of course the genders will not relate properly. Disease causes stress. Oh my God. And then all this causes is the human race will die. Literally, the manosphere is an existential threat. You know, when I began, because I was really originally going to make one big video on the manosphere, but eventually, I ended up dividing it up into these videos. It's really going to be a series. This is the second video in the series. Again, if you haven't watched the first video called The Manosphere is Evil, go watch it. But as I kept researching, thinking about it, and especially when I started talking to my ancestors, right? Because again, I'll go into this content. Just to say quickly, I'm what most people call spiritual. So I pray to my ancestors. I talk to them, right? And then also just thinking about it, I realize it's a lot deeper. Because these men who hate women so much that it's their reason for being, they get online just to attack women, talk about how women are evil, encourage other men to hate women, to pull back from healthy relationship with women. They're destroying life. They're spreading the energy of anti-life. So they have to be stopped. Because every evil they do leads to this, which leads to the destruction of life. And the group of beings we call the human race has a special purpose on this planet, just like every group of beings has a special purpose. Birds have a special purpose. Fish have a special purpose. Lions have a special purpose. Jaguars have a special purpose. Platypuses have a special purpose. If you remove them, it's harder to live. If the human race, really, I'll go into it later, what we should call all of us together, black people, non-blacks, gods. If gods are removed from Earth, Earth will collapse. It will collapse. My mic's still on? Yeah. It will collapse. Everything will collapse. The divine design will collapse. So these people are existential threats. So my next video, I'm going to be talk about how we can get rid of them. I'm going to do live streams where I go in depth on all these things. But we just, if you get nothing else, remember these 5 reasons why it's bad. Because before you remove a tumor from your body, you have to understand that it could end your life. Okay. So to sum up the 5 reasons again, the 5 reasons why the manosphere is bad. First, the manosphere spreads misogyny, hatred of women. Second, the manosphere spreads racism. Third, the manosphere causes violence, particularly violence committed by men. Okay. Fourth, the manosphere spreads disease. It literally makes people sick. Literally. People talk about different plagues, different panoramics. The manosphere is a panoramic. Get rid of it. Leave my world. All of you, every disciple of Kevin Samuels, every disciple of Andrew Tate, leave. Fix yourself before the universe fixes you, please. You are spreading disease. Stop. Chai. Whew. And fifth and finally, everything leads to this. The manosphere divides the genders. It causes gender division. The genders are divided. The genders are more divided because of the manosphere, because of the evil you red pillars and black pillars and incels and vole cells and rat cells and mouse cells and flea cells and cockroach cells and cockroach pillars and green pillars and whatever the heck you are spreading. You are dividing the genders and ending human life. You are removing gods from earth. So anyway, if you get nothing else from this, remember why it's bad. And just like anything else, when something is bad, you have to remove it. So if you get nothing else from this video, remember that the manosphere has to be removed from existence. And in my next video, I'm going to tell you all why. Again, my name is Chimoge. This is another video on Chimoge's comments. This is the first ever in my top 5 series. So this is the top 5 reasons why the manosphere is bad. Please check out my about section for a lot of good stuff. And I'll see y'all later. Peace. All right, hey guys, I'm back to give you one bonus reason why the manosphere is bad. And that reason is that it spreads abomination speech. In my language, it's known as Auraloku. Okay, my language, it's currently called Igbo. It shouldn't be a complicated story. But anyway, those of my fellow Igbos out there will know what I mean when I say Aurala. So when I say Auraloku, you know what that means. For everyone else, it's abomination speech. Let me explain what abomination speech is generally. Basically, an abomination or aurala is anything that destroys the fabric of existence, destroys matter, right? So one part of existence is speech itself. And speech is a combination of two things, really. One, emotion, or in my language, ebube, and two, meaning, or in my language, nota, right? So these things are supposed to go together, and there's a certain speech meant to refer to everything in existence. And they're different languages, but all of them are set up so that certain words go together with certain emotions and refer to certain things. But when you just start deviating from that and just saying things, right? Or you mess up the emotion behind the words, or you put an emotion on a word that doesn't belong, that destroys the fabric of existence because you're destroying the language now. So that is Aurala. And manosphere men do this all the time because they just make up terms. So, for example, when you say, I believe women are evil, therefore I'm a red pillar, that's Aurala. That's Auraloku. That is abomination speech. Okay? That is abomination speech. If you say, I think, life is meaningless, I'm a black pillar. No, you're not a black pillar. You are scum because you just committed an abomination. That is abomination speech. There's already terms for that. You're depressed. And to be clear, English itself is abomination speech. So, like inherently, if you're speaking English, you're going to speak some abomination. But if you make English more abominable than it, like, let me just say, Manosphere men have made English more abominable than it already is. What? Hold up. Even I just, oh my god, because it's one thing. You guys who saw what I just did might be wondering, right? I've heard that people back home in Nigeria are familiar with this, but this is why I need to spend more time. What is the U.S.? My ancestor told me this. I'll verify with people I talk to at home. But anyway, um, You can know things in your head, but it's different when then your whole body knows it. So when I go, oh, it's when like my whole body knows it, you know what I mean? But that thing just locked into place now. Like Manosphere Men have made English more abominable than it already is. You already have an evil language that shouldn't exist. I'm only speaking it because one, most people I'm trying to speak to speak English, so I kind of have to. Two, I was raised in the US, so like even myself, like on one level, I'll explain this later. On one level, I understand things best in English, and I'm just in the habit of speaking it, but I don't want to. But then this horrible thing, you've made it worse. What? Leave. Just leave. 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 Just exit the room, please. Oh my god. English more abominable than it already is. So all these weird terms you hear from them. Red pill, black pill, blue pill, volcel, incel, what else? I don't even want to think. All that nonsense. SMV. Um, what else do they say? I don't even want to remember because again, when you remember stupid things, it makes you dumber. But all those weird terms, if you hear it right and you're not in the manosphere, don't think that it's subjective that you feel bad. You feel bad because it's literally an abomination. That is evil speech. Okay? So that's the sixth reason the manosphere is bad. They spread abomination speech. Okay? Um anyway, that was just an added reason why it's bad. I put it in one because I want the video to get over 30 minutes because they do better on YouTube if they're at least 30 minutes. Two, I just thought why not give you guys some more information. But anyway, peace.